What's up YouTube, Mo here. I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my main deck, Gravekeepers. Let's go into it. I got 3 spies. That's basic for any Gravekeeper deck. Have to have 3. Main engine. I run 3 recruiters. You can run 2. I used to run 2, but I felt the deck wasn't too consistent. Because keep in mind, Gravekeepers is a slow deck and doesn't special summon a lot. So recruiter helps get a lot of keep your hand fresh with monsters. You search any Gravekeeper except spy. He comes in handy. I like him at 3. You know. I go 2 commandants. I feel 3 is a little too much because by the time I even get to my 3rd commandant, I will have used my 3rd Necro Valley. So at that point, he's just a beater for me. So I keep him at 2, and if I really do need him, I'll just search him with recruiter. So I feel 2 is a good number. I go 2 descendants. He's the MVP of this deck. Pop a Gravekeeper. He can destroy anything on the field, on your opponent's side of the field. Comes in clutch. He gets over big monsters, destroys back row. He causes havoc. I go 1 nobleman. She comes in clutch for your spy plays. You can even go shaman if you want, but I'd rather just go spy. Your opponent ends his turn, you flip the spy, get out, depending on the situation, a descendant or a recruiter or something, and you go on the offensive from there. I go 1 heretic. He comes in clutch at the end of games. You know, there's a lot of times my opponent will have no monster, and I will just summon him. They'll have no monster and a ton of back row, and they can't activate anything because he's unaffected by any card effects. He comes in big. You know, a lot of people don't use him because he doesn't get the attack boost, but honestly, 1800 is a good attack. I would put him at 1. And my last Gravekeeper Shaman, she gives Necro Valley its steroids, honestly. You know, she gets a 200 defense boost for every Gravekeeper in your graveyard. Monster effects from your opponents that go off in their graveyard get negated, and Necro Valley can't be destroyed while she's face up on the field. You know, the only bad thing about her is that she's a 1 tribute monster. So what I try to do is, while she's still in my deck, a lot of times I try to bring her out with my spy when he gets flipped, because she has 1500 attack, and that way I can just play Necro Valley the next turn, and I can start setting up my play. That was it for the Gravekeepers. I run 2 Fossil Dyna. This card is clutch, especially with the meta today. A lot of decks are special summoning left and right. You got Necros, you got Burning Abyss, 6 Samurai, all those decks that love the special summon. You know, you set this, they run into it, flip, the whole field goes. You know, it just causes terror. 2 is a good number. You don't want to go more than 2. I go with the 1 Thunder King Ryu. A lot of decks search today. You know, it's a good card to have. It's a 1900 beater, so for them to even search, they have to get over that. And it can come. His other effect is you can tribute him and negate a special summon, and that can come in clutch. You know, towards the end of the game. And my last monster is Grand Mole. I recently put him in, and he's great. He fit in perfectly. You know, I could run him into all these extra deck monsters, the popular ones, the Dark Laws, the Shaddoll monsters, Necros, Burning Abyss, those Dantes. You get them off the field, he comes back to your hand, and you can keep using him whenever you want. And unless your opponent has a Mirror Force or some kind of back row card to get rid of him, he's not going anywhere. That's it for the monsters. Now, spells, 3 Necro Valleys. You have to run it. There's no question. You need 3. If you're running 2, you're a fucking idiot. I run 2 dualities. I know you should be running 3. You know, it's not really a big issue if you're running 2, honestly, because I run an Allure of Darkness if I really need draw power. Because the problem with 3 is a lot of times I would play Pot of Duality and another pot would come up in my choices, and I didn't like that. You know, it doesn't give me a lot of options. So I felt 2 pots would be good and 1 Allure of Darkness. And I don't even use Allure of Darkness. A lot of times I just set it as MST bait. And if I do need the draw power, I'll just banish the Dark Monster, draw my 2 cards, it's whatever. Got the one Royal Tribute. You can only have it at 1, it's limited. This card is clutch. You know, decks like Ghost Tricks that just add all monsters in their hands, or even any deck. If you start off with this and Necro Valley and you play it, you just destroy the whole opponent's hand. And it's happened. It happens a lot lately. Well, actually, so it's a really good card.
Does it destroy your monsters too, or is it just theirs?
Yeah, it's both hands. But
doesn't that hurt you sometimes?
Yeah, but a lot of times I don't have a lot of monsters. You know, and you don't even have to use it right away. If you have a lot of monsters, you save it. So, anyway, back to the cards. I run the 1 Book of Moon, the 1 Dark Hole, and the 1 Raigeki. And my last spell, I run Gravekeepers Stealth. I love this card. It's great. You know, I love it at 1. It recycles for you, since keep in mind you're not running a lot of monsters with Gravekeepers. So you get to add 2 Gravekeepers to your hand using this. You know, depending, it's a good situational card. If you need a Necro Valley, you get your Commandants. If you need to start floating the field, you go after your Spy. You need to destroy something, go after your Descendant. You know, get any Gravekeeper comes in clutch towards the end of games.
It's basically monster reincarnation.
Yeah, on steroids. I run the 2 Deep Prisons. I prefer Deep Prison over Mirror Force because of the fact it banishes. And a lot of times my Necro Valley will get destroyed and my opponent will have an opportunity to get a card back from the graveyard. So this just denies that. I go 2 Fiendish Chains. 2's enough. I mean, you could run 3, but 3 is a little cloggy for me. You know? I go 2 Dark Bribes. I side deck 1 Imperial Tombs, mainly because it's a dead. A lot of times it's a dead card, and I'll get into that in a sec. But I feel Dark Bribe is an excellent card. Your opponent gets to draw 1 card, but you get to negate a spell or trap card. That's amazing. You can draw 1 card. I'll take that. I got the 1 Mirror Force. Like I said, I like Deep Prison more, and with that being said, I'll keep Mirror Force in there in case my opponent has his field stacked up. Got the 1 Mind Crush. A lot of decks search, and I won't always be able to get to my Thunder King Ryu, so I got that in there. Got my Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, Vanities, and Ring of Destruction. Now to my extra deck. I run the 2 Master Key Beetles. I run him at 2 because of the fact that he helps protect your Necro Valley, and he's a 2500 beater. You know, it's a great card. And also for him to get destroyed, you can choose to destroy one of the cards it's protecting instead to keep him on the field. So he comes in clutch a lot of times. Abyss Dweller. A lot of decks work off the graveyard. You know, this helps help fight against that. 1 Heartland Draco. 1 Carnagorn. A lot of cards target. The 1 Gaga Cowboy for the end of games. 1 Ragnar Zero. 1 Castel. I got Evil Swarm from Nados in there. I don't really use him, but you know, if I'm going up against some kind of monster that targets, with its monster effects, I'll pull him out. Got the 1 Dark Law and the 1 Crazy Box.
Why do you have Crazy Box?
Honestly, he's in there just to be in there. I rarely use him in a serious duel, but it's a 3000 attack, and he's a good defensive card. You know, prevents your opponent from getting past that. Now to my extra deck. I go 2 Effect Veilers, 2 Typhoons, the 1 Mask Change, the 1 Shared Ride for the decks that like to search. Got the 1 Dimensional Fissure for decks that use the graveyard. For traps, I'm running 2 Zing Zing Who's. They come in clutch against certain decks, and the decks that like to set a lot of back row, like Gravekeepers. Got the 1 skill drain. Don't really use it, but if I'm going up against because it will hurt me actually. But if I'm going up against a deck that this card will hurt more, then I'll just throw it in there. The 1 Imperial Tombs, I'm citing it because a lot of times I won't have Necro Valley out and a Gravekeeper out at the same time. I'll have one or the other, and that being said, I won't be able to use this card because you need to have both. So I just run 2 Dark Bribes, and I just keep that in there just because. Got an extra Mind Crush in case I'm really going up against a deck that's just searching every turn. I'll just throw in the 2 Mind Crushes and the Thunder King Ryu, and I'm straight. The 1 Black Horn of Heaven for the decks that like to special summon a lot. It can come in clutch. The 1 Chaos Trap Hole negates a special summon of a light or dark monster and banishes it. But you have to pay 2,000 life points. A lot of times I'll side it in for Solemn Warning, but you know, it's a good card. Or maybe I'll play both. It depends on the deck and the situation. And finally, the 1 card that everybody hates, the 1 Macrocosmos. Like the D-Fissure, Macrocosmos helps out because you know a lot of decks rely off the graveyard, and if I can block off the graveyard, then you can ruin a lot of decks with this. And your opponent will be forced to waste the MST on this or Necro Valley, and then he's in that predicament. And that's it for my deck. If you have any questions at all, feel free to message me. You know, strategies, plays, suggestions. You know, comment, send me a message, whatever. I appreciate if you like or comment or subscribe or do all 3. You know, thank you.